No.
No, that whatever that just happened, stop.
Bad.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
still not good.
Rusty, will you get that other switch, please? Thank you so much. Yay. Thank you. That's wonderful. So you can just see us enough on camera. That's awesome. All right. Good evening, everyone. Got a flickering light up here. That is weird. Yeah, okay, I know. Like, I can't stop looking at it. Welcome to Wednesday night. Hey, Levi. It's good to see you. So many faces here tonight that I miss. You're out living your lives and we don't get to see you all the time. I'm glad you guys are here. So, as you know, Wednesday nights are our favorites. I just want to invite you guys up to the front. We're going to worship. And so the cry of our heart tonight is we want open eyes, right? We want to see in the Spirit when we can ask Him. So I encourage you, wherever you are, to just raise your hands and open your heart. And if you're having some trouble lifting your hands or opening your heart tonight, that's okay. Because we just need to tell Him that we're available. And He'll take care of the rest. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. To see you high and lifted up, shining in the light of your glory. Pour out your power and love as we sing holy, holy, holy. To see you high and lifted up, shining in the light of your glory. Pour out your power and love as we sing holy, holy, holy. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. To see you high and lifted up, shining in the light of your glory. Pour out your power and love as we sing holy, holy, holy. We'll see you high and lifted up, shining in the light of your glory. Pour out your power and love as we sing holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. I want to see you. Come on, sing it again. Holy, holy, holy. Holy,
just a heart song singing out of tune. I remember the simplicity, just to feel you here was everything. Stunned by your beauty, this is my offering, not for anything that I could gain, just to honor you and bring you praise, like a fragrance broken on the floor. May my worship be pure. There's no motive, there's no hidden catch. Here's my all and I don't want it back. Like a fragrance broken on the floor. May my worship be pure.
Find me like a child again, full of wonder, full of innocence. Before anything got in the way, any dream or any accolade, will you make it easy to bring me, not for anything that I could gain, just to honor you and bring you praise, like a fragrance broken on the floor. May my worship be pure. There's no motive, there's no hidden catch. Here's my all and I don't want it back. Like a fragrance broken on the floor. May my worship be pure.
Pure things, pure praise, nothing in the way. My heart, my love, this is all you want.
Pure things, pure praise, nothing in the way. My heart, my love, this is all you want. You know, before we sing this next part, I just want to encourage you to find that childlike place that's still within you. As we grow and as we experience new things, that little person inside of us gets smaller and smaller. But that little person inside of you is who you really are. That beautiful little spirit that still believes there's good in the world. That just believes unafraid. That doesn't need proof or a feeling or conditions to be right. We just believe and we just know. So go back to that place when you wanted to be a ballerina, or you wanted to be an astronaut, or you still believed that anything was possible. This is the childlike faith that we want to bring with us. This is the place that we want to get to because this is the place that helps us experience God in brand new ways. It doesn't have to look like anything. God knows your heart, and all he wants is your heart. All he wants is your heart. And just that belief that says, I know you're here, God. I know you're here. And you're all that matters. Because it's all about you.
It's all about you, all about you, and it's all about
you, all about you, and it's all about you, all about you, and it's 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 all about you.
not for anything that I could gain.
It's just to honor you and bring you praise.
Like a fragrance broken on the floor.
May my worship be pure. There's no motive, there's no hidden cash. Here's my all and I don't want it back. Like a fragrance broken on the floor. May my worship be pure.
If you're tired and thirsty, there is freedom. If you're tired and thirsty, there is freedom.
Give your all to Jesus. There is freedom. Give your all to Jesus. There is freedom. Freedom reigns in this place. Showers of mercy and grace falling on every face. There is freedom. Freedom reigns in this place. Showers of mercy and grace falling on every face. There is freedom. Freedom reigns in this place. Showers of mercy and grace falling on every face. There is freedom.
Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom.
Right here, lift your eyes to heaven. There is freedom. Showers of mercy and grace falling on every face. There is freedom. Just imagine if everything that you need was being poured out from heaven right now. What would you do? How would you receive it? Because he freely gives. Freely. Jesus, you are all we need. And when we sing, turn your eyes to heaven, it's turning our eyes to the reality of heaven that you've placed within our hearts, to the knowledge that you're not far away, that you're so close, you're part of us. And so we're here to receive. We're here to receive, Father, from your unending well of grace, from the river that flows straight from the throne. We believe that you're pouring that out right now. And so together, we receive all the healing that you have for us, all the peace, all the joy, all the love, because you reign in this place. Jesus reigns in this place. Showers of mercy and grace falling on every face. There is freedom. It's yours if you want it. Freedom reigns in this place. Showers of mercy and grace falling on every face. There is freedom. Oh, Jesus reigns, Jesus reigns, Jesus reigns in this place. Showers of mercy and grace falling on every face. There is freedom. So I'll stand with arms high and heart abandoned in awe of the one who gave it all. I'll stand, my soul, Lord, to you surrender all. I am is yours. All I am is yours. So I'll stand with arms high and heart abandoned in awe of the one who gave it all. So I'll stand, my soul, Lord, to you surrender all. I am is yours. Yes, all I am is yours. And all we have to do is start singing. All we have to do is start praising your name, and the enemy runs away. All we have to do is start singing. All we have to do is start praising your name, and the enemy runs away. He runs, he runs, he runs. All we have to do is start singing. All we have to do is start praising your name, I know the battle, I know the battle. The battle is yours. It's always yours. So I'll stand with arms high and heart abandoned in awe of the one who gave it all. I'll stand, my soul, Lord, to you surrender. All I am is yours. All I am is yours. So if all he wants us to do for the enemy to flee is to praise, I think we can do that, right? I think we can do that when we don't feel like it, when our voice wants to give up, when our circumstances say we shouldn't, when we're wondering how weird we look to our neighbor or what everybody's gonna think about us. But there's freedom here. There's freedom here. If you want to reach out and take it, if you know you're tired and you know you're thirsty, this unending well of grace is more than enough. And it will cause you to rise and thrive every time. Every time. There is freedom. Freedom reigns in this place. Showers of mercy and grace falling on every face. There is freedom. Freedom reigns in this place. Showers of mercy and grace falling on every face. There is freedom. All we have to do is start singing. All we have to do is start praising your name, and the enemy runs away. I want to send some demons fleeing. All we have to do is start singing. All we have to do is start praising your name, and the enemy runs away. He runs. All we have to do is start singing. All we have to do is start praising your name, and the enemy runs away. All we have to do is start singing. All we have to do is start praising your name, and the enemy runs away. 'Cause I know the battle, I know the battle, I know the battle. The battle is yours, always yours. I know the battle, I know the battle, I know the battle. The battle is yours, it's always yours. You know, many times in scripture it says that he's our strong tower, our fortress, our rock, our shelter, our dwelling place. You know those times when all of the pressure just gets to be too much and you know that you need somewhere to hide? Wherever you are, you can hide in him. Wherever you are, he's your dwelling place. Tucked away from the outside, from all of the things that try to get you off of my mind. Sheltered beneath your wings from all of the chaos and all of the noise. You're drawing me in with place. You are my dwelling place. When I look into your eyes, you whisper to me the story you've written for my life, awakening my dreams. And when I am doubting, when I'm insecure, you'd reassure me with the sound of your voice. When I look into your eyes, you are my dwelling place. You are my dwelling place. Peace is found here, love abounds here, wrapped up in your grace. You are my dwelling place. You are my dwelling peace is found here, love abounds here, wrapped up in your grace. You are my dwelling place. You are my dwelling place. You know what's cool about the more we do this is the easier it gets to get in his presence. And then you can take that everywhere you go. You say, I can't get away from people. I don't have a quiet space to be. That's okay. You open the door and he'll do the rest. So Father, I just pray an overflow for every person here. An overflow of your presence, an overflow of your peace, because more than we need what you can do for us, we just need you. We just need you to relish in the beauty of you and be in awe of you and spend time with you and just focus on your face and stop looking for your hand, but just to look at you, to stop looking to outside things, to stop looking at other people to fill that void, but to just seek you. We change and our circumstances change, but you don't change. And just because you can't see him as easily in one season as you could in the one before, that doesn't mean that he's not still there and still working and still loving and still stretching you and wanting you to grow. He's still there. He's still there. You are my dwelling place. You are my dwelling place. what kind of spontaneous word my cute husband has for everybody. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Hey, Clem. Do you want the table or anything? I don't know. Let's sit down with everyone. William and Kevin, will you guys please help bring the table over?
Boom.
I think they're just muted. Oh. Da, 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 da.
Boom.
Cha, cha, cha.
Boom.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes. So when I told my husband that I forgot to tell him that he was going to be helping me with the message tonight, he said, well, what am I listening to? Right? He already knows. So, but part of loving is being willing to yield. So I told him that I'm letting him take the lead on this because he only got to talk for the last 5 minutes the last time that he shared with me. So, green light.
So what were you wanting to talk about? You said you had something. At least give me somewhere to go.
Oh, okay. So, I was hoping you'd say that. Well, you know, it's Valentine's Day. For some people, you say yay, and some people you say, yeah. Well, you know what? Jesus loves you, and God loves you. I've been thinking about the word beloved, and if you just separate that word, it becomes 2 words, be loved. Be loved. So I don't want to really, I'm really not sure. I was just thinking today about how different our approach is to life, to other people, and to ourselves, not when someone loves us, but when we know that the Father loves us and we can therefore start to love ourselves. To me, that's being loved. That's freedom. I mean, how many of us have had some problems with even liking ourselves? Yeah, 3 people are telling the truth. Okay. Well, I'm glad you guys have arrived. You don't need to listen to this. Y'all just sit there, and we'll be done in a little while. That is something that I really struggled with is liking myself, let alone loving myself. And the only way I have been able to start loving myself is by asking God to help me see me from His perspective. Because every time we get our eyes too much on ourselves, we're taking our eyes off of Him, and then our perspective of everything is distorted because we're not looking first through the lens of the Father. That's where I'm at. I'm really trying.
Don't stop now.
I don't want to hear about this later. So let me
You
go.
won't.
So a cool thing about being married, you guys, like last Valentine's Day, I'm pretty sure it was like 2:30 in the afternoon before we looked at each other and said, "Oh yeah, happy Valentine's Day." Good, and that was how that one went. And then this year we got each other the exact same present, and it was great. We got some of Jessica Gonzalez's #Gonzalez treats. Got some of her chocolate cake balls. And we got each other the exact same order. And then I sent Taylin to pick hers up at the exact same time that you went to pick up all of ours. He got stuff for the kids and everything. It was really nice. But we wouldn't be able to show the kind of love for each other that we do if we didn't at least like ourselves. You know what I mean? Like, we like to pay attention to those spots in the Bible where it talks about like what the woman's supposed to be for the husband and how we're supposed to do all the things and be all the places and just smile and nod and have babies and just, do the things. But the word also says that a man will treat his wife as a reflection of the way he loves himself. Because if a man takes care of himself and shows himself care by feeding himself and clothing himself and all of the things, then that is reflective of how he's going to be able to care for not just like a partner, but also just people in general. How well we take care of ourselves is a reflection of how well we're going to take care of other people in our life. And if we're unkind to ourselves too much, eventually that unkindness is going to come out on everybody around us. No matter how good of a heart we have, because we can want to help and do stuff and be there for people, and then eventually just like implode on the inside because we're not taking care of ourselves. So, how do we start being beloved, being loved? I mean, I need crowd response because we're trying to figure this out. Man, well. No, nothing is rhetorical, I'm telling you. But I'm wondering, Jesus all the time referred to people as beloved. Why would he call us something that we weren't? Over and over and over again, he says beloved, or he calls someone daughter or someone son. There's these hidden places in Scripture all the time where he's speaking into our identity. I've told you guys kind of like the backstory of Steve and Ruth and I's relationship. My parents are great people, but we're just not close. And so Steve and Ruth came along, and at the exact same time that Steve was asking God to help him understand the love of the Father, I was asking God to help me see the Father as Dad. And it was a connection for both of us that neither one of us could make. So it really happened simultaneously in the way Steve says, just like all of a sudden this love was just like deposited, and we just looked at each other one day and we were like, oh, all right then. This is another reason why I say, like, don't rush anything, because at the right time, God has a way of just taking care of things at the exact right time in the right moments. But the first time Steve told me that he was proud of me, I looked at myself different. Like, I remember distinctly looking in the mirror that day and seeing myself differently, because I had never had a father figure tell me that they were proud of me. And it's one of those things, like, you don't realize that you didn't have until you get it, and you're like, whoa. Like, sometimes I joke about the difference between, like, you can tell, like, somebody who was nurtured compared to someone who wasn't nurtured. We all have our stuff. Nobody's upbringing is perfect by any means. But just that moment, I've hung on to that moment, and this was a couple of years ago, but it's made me want to seek this out more and asking God, help me see you as Dad, because if I'm able to see him as Dad, I can relate that to something in my own life. So asking God to help you love yourself is not weird. I believe that it's vital if you really want to thrive and have, the good relationships that you're supposed to have. We have to be able to know that we're valuable and that we have worth.
So being loved, like Tamara's explaining, for me to show the reflection of how much I love myself didn't work like that. I had to put the first foot forward in loving somebody else before I could see the love for myself, before I started being more positive with myself. So with her, with the kids, with friends that I was acquiring over my walk, I to show the love for myself, I had to start loving other people first. Mine was kind of backwards, and it just grew more and more that I could be a good person, that I could love myself, because I did have love in my heart to give away, to share. And it just ended up coming back to me after I was able to show consistently, the love for Tamara, for instance. It wasn't always easy to just give my love away. And
Especially in the beginning, because I was mean.
well, she had a reason to be. And there is no but. She had a reason to be. And that's what made it that much more important to show her she was loved. Same thing with the kids, to show them that they were loved. But as I continue doing that, I can say that I love myself, not in a not like a conceited way, but because of all the actions that I've followed through with and giving up things that I want over them. That was something that made me start feeling love for myself, is because I was doing more for others than I was for myself. But with that, it just came back around, that the love I needed for myself was there.
That's really good. That's really good. I had something, I lost it. Oh yeah, we've been talking the last couple of days a little bit about the words that we say and the actions we take. We're planting seeds that we're gonna harvest later. The word says, like, you're gonna eat the fruit of your lips. Like, what you say, you might as well see it as a seed in the ground, and that's gonna grow into something. There's gonna be weeds in every garden, so you don't have to do it perfectly by any means. But this is something that God's dealing with me on, because I'm seeing there's areas that I want to grow, and I can't grow in certain areas if I'm spending time doing the wrong thing. If I want to get closer to God, but I'm spending all my spare time in the evenings doing something that's not conducive to growing my relationship with Him, then I can't get mad at Him and say, well, where are you at? All I did was scroll through Facebook Reels for 3 hours. Why didn't you show up? Like, that makes no sense. That makes no sense. But I don't know what you do, Kat. It's fine. I know what I do. And you have to have a balance, but this is something that I've never thought about before, is being that intentional with my time. Now, I know everybody needs a moment where you gotta detach and just like either stare at the wall or scroll through Facebook for, 10 minutes or whatever. But what God is showing me is that time is short and time is precious. And we get in this thing of really taking for granted that we're just going to have tomorrow. And we don't get that. I feel like the best we can do is to be present in the moment. And as much as we can, to be conscious about asking God, where are you right now? Like, I know you're here. What are we doing? What do you want to show me? Like, we all had an imaginary friend when we were little, for the most part, unless you were weird. I had one. I had several. It's fine. I vividly remember, no matter how bad my childhood was, no matter how traumatic it was, I still remember flashes and increments of time that I still believed anything was possible, and the world was technicolor, and it was beautiful, and you just had this overwhelming hope that it was going to get better someday. That is the feeling that we have to intentionally carry with us, no matter what it takes, to go back and find that little girl and say, guess what? We're just going to believe like that again. We're just going to do it. And I may not feel like it, and my circumstances may not tell me that it's smart to do that, but I'm going to do it. We're all stubborn, right? That's why we're here. So if we can take the same stubborn mentality we had before to get stuff that we wanted that wasn't good for us and put it towards something that we know is good for us, it just makes me wonder, like, what we could do, what we could be, how we could really be effective in the body, because we look to a lot of outside things before we just go to the source, because that's hard. Like, we live in a technological world where you just get instant gratification all the time. Like, I don't have to think about nothing. I can just scroll. I don't have to think about anything. Like, I literally have felt this week that I'm like getting amnesia or something, like I've made myself dumb by all the time I've spent on my phone, because I'm sitting in the doctor's office and I realize that there is a person sitting next to me, I'm in my hometown, that I know that person, but my brain has been so absolutely littered with junk that I cannot figure out who this person is. And so, of course, it's got me thinking, I'm Googling like normal signs of aging and all these things. What are the warning signs of dementia? Because I'm freaking out over here. But God is showing me, what have you been doing with your mind since you got off drugs? What have you been doing? Because I can't blame everything on that. If I believe that God is a restorer of all things and will give you a double portion, a double blessing for your former trouble, then I can't go around saying I can't do this or understand this because it's just my past. Like, we either believe that God has healed us or we don't. The trick of it is to carry that belief every single day. That no matter what. Like, y'all, I live with 5 teenagers. You guys pray for me, okay? There is a God. I know, because we're all still living, and it's fine. But they are some of the funniest people. I mean, they're hysterical. I absolutely love them. But there are those moments. There are just those moments. I'm like, I'm going to go. So God is helping me in those moments learn how to recenter. We have to know and just believe on purpose that God is right here. He's right here. Like, we don't have to say, help me, God. Help me. God, I really need you to help me with this. God, where are you? He's right here. He's right here. He doesn't go anywhere. He is always with you everywhere you go. And if you get discouraged because everywhere you are, there you are, so is he. And his grace makes up for every place that we think that we lack.
So I've got something on, she said recenter, and it kind of stood out to me that, early I always had to take time between situations because I was very good at reacting. And as I've been taught over the years, a reaction is negative. And yesterday through our whole giving of Valentine's gifts, I got all the girls the cake pops. Well, I get some immaculate beef jerky from a guy from work. Well, the bag that I normally get every week that is for me, I forgot to get the boys their bag. So I took my bag and split it in half. So instead of the boys getting cake pops, they got a monster bag of beef jerky. And so I'm handing all the girls out their stuff, and I go to my room to get the bags of jerky because I already had it at the house. And Carson was stoked. He's like, oh yeah, I gave him his bag. I gave Cooper his bag. And he's like, I don't want this, and he threw it at me. And my heart went into my stomach. You know, as small as it was, that the fact that it was beef jerky, whatever, it was the way he did it, right? It was the whole act, the reaction that he gave me. And he was trying to come up to me and hug me. I'm like, you need to get away from me now. Just walk away. So later on, after I took a shower and everything, I pulled him aside. I pulled him back into my room. And this is where I'm getting is the love that I have for my son, because he was one of my kids that when I was in my worst part of my addiction, he wanted to be with his dad. So he saw me through all of my bitterness towards Tamra and anger and everything that I had at that time. He was there. So I caused a lot of issues with him in what it was to be respectful. What it is to be a little young man. And so over the years, I've been slowly but surely correcting that for him. And yesterday was one of those moments. And I told him, you know, that really hurt my feelings. It's not the fact that you didn't want it, it's how you announced you didn't want it. And he was crying, he understood what he did, but it's that tough love, too, that his brothers or sisters or fathers or moms or husband and wife. I mean, there's points in times that I have to tough love Tamra. And it's not like a discipline thing like that.
No, I get my way most of the time.
But I couldn't be the person that I'm supposed to be if I allowed those actions to take place. I wouldn't be the dad that he needs if I allowed him to do what he did and nothing be said about it. And I went into the description of, you know, if you react just like you did, it's a negative response. You need to think about what you're about to do to get a positive result. And so I think it resonated with him in that manner, because, you know, there's no telling what would happen if he'd have done it to somebody else. If he'd have done that shit, if he'd have done, oh, I almost said it. If he'd have done that to his mom, excuse me, you know, what it would have done to her. And then he would have been blind to it because she doesn't do like I do with him, you know, and she takes it a lot harder to heart, which I'm soft to them too, but, you know, those kind of corrections just need to come from the Father, I guess, you know, for it to hit deeper. So being loved is being tough too.
It just makes me wonder how many times we've done that to God. I know, girl. Me too. Me too.
Can I just say this? I think that the best
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. He'll never forget it. Which is huge. Like, if you guys only knew, like, the way we were raised, especially the way he was raised. I mean, y'all know our generation. Like, they swung first, asked questions later. There was no conversation. There was no, and they did the best they could. That's what they knew because that's what they got. And so now I've heard this generation called coddle culture. It's legitly what they call it. And for the most,
Sissies.
for some of it, I completely agree. But that it takes time. Like, real love is being able to not react and to pause and to think and to pray and then to give a conversation in love, to speak the truth in love, because you can't speak the truth in love when you're reacting. And as parents, we're always here to encourage fellow parents, because something I've really struggled with is parenting out of guilt. You want to make up for that lost time. You want to buy them that thing because you was a bad mom. You want to go this place and you want to say yes to this because you were a bad parent all those years. And I will tell you that the best thing you can do for your child is to just be present every day and to let them know that they can depend on you, that you're not perfect. You may still be spastic sometimes, and you're not going to do it right, but you are still there. You're sober, you're there, and you're going to be the same person tomorrow as you are today. They will never have to doubt if they're going to get that old version of you. And they don't care about you doing it perfect. They just want to keep moving forward. That's how your family feels about you. We have to give people room to have their feelings. And for me, that was something that was hard for me because my upbringing was very, very calloused. And then with everything we went through, I just got to a point where just a switch flipped and I just didn't care anymore. Have you ever had so much of your own pain that you could not care about anyone else's? And you couldn't relate to people, and you just stayed trapped in the prison of your own thought of nobody has had it as bad as me, no one can understand. And that's exactly what the enemy wants, is for you to sit alone in that isolation and believe the lie that no one could possibly understand or come alongside you in what you've been through. But I love what you said about love is an honest conversation, and it's a hard conversation sometimes. And,
Yeah, admitting when you're wrong and apologizing is a hard conversation.
My goodness, that hurts a little bit. Thankfully, I don't have to do it very much. I am just kidding. That was a lie in church. You're cussing, I'm lying. It's terrible. It's terrible. But, a lot of really loving another person, not just in a relationship, in any relationship with any person you love, you have to be willing to yield. The best piece of advice we ever got was the first to lose wins. And it's a competition that he wins every time. It's really annoying. But the first person to say they're sorry, the first person to say they were wrong, even if you don't think you were wrong, but the first person to say, I'm sorry I hurt you.
The first person to quit the fight.
Ugh. It really bothered me in the beginning. Because all we did was fight. That's all we did was fight. Man, we had some screaming matches. Don't point at me. I'm just saying. Yeah, I was pretty good at fanning the flames. I'll give you that much. But that's that part where we talk about we got to die daily. We gotta lay down what it is that we want for ourselves and our own idea of what it is that is going to help us get through the day. We have to put all that down and take up the cross. Both of them are heavy. You might as well choose the one that ends in victory for you and can bless other people. Because we're going to get more blessing from striving to be like Christ to other people than we'll ever have staying stuck in the stink of our own isolation and our own dishonesty. Like, it's really been on my heart a lot lately. Like, I want to get real with God. I want to get real. I want to be real with the people around me. And to the modern Western church, that looks ick. It looks ick. It looks all kinds of wrong. But I feel like that's what we're missing, is that genuine relationship, the genuine relationship where you can say, I've got my stuff and I've got my stuff, and we're coming together at the feet of Jesus. And we're going to be here for each other. We're going to support each other. And I'm going to talk to you about your prayer life. And what ways did you experience God today? And what did you see during worship? And, you know, what has God said about that? And I know that you're going to do that for me too, because I spent so much time looking to another pastor, another person, another worship leader, another whoever to have the perfect word for me that I needed at that time. I burned so many relationships because I went to this person, to this person, to this person, and the only thing I cared about was making sure that they heard what was going on with me in my heart, in my mind, in my life. I'm going to give you my whole life story every single day until you tell me a way that I can fix it. You're going to magically fix this for me. Y'all, we wear people out. Wears people out. So coming up and looking down at the wreckage of all of that, it's helped me learn to let people have their feelings. And finding that balance between accepting responsibility for what we've done, but still forgiving ourselves and learning how to love ourselves. And being more interested in learning how Christ loves us and what he's about, being more interested in that than anything else. Like, I got clean like 9 months before him, and in that time, like, I told God, if it's just me, you, and the kids, I'm okay. I lived in a 1-bedroom house with 4 kids. I didn't have a car. I made $7.50 an hour. I didn't get food stamps. I didn't get assistance. I did get a HUD letter that I never saw. I waited 4 months for my acceptance letter. Let's just say he found it, and the trash can received it. So, but all of that worked together for good.
I paid for that.
Listen, it all works together for good. All of it, even when it doesn't look good. I would not trade that time in my life for anything, because that time in my life taught me that I really would be okay with just God. Was I still a train wreck? Yes. Will my kids probably still tell you some hair-raising stories about my mentality? Probably. But he sustained me in a season where I had no one, because I burnt every single bridge I had and nobody wanted to talk to me. Pastor Dick was about the only person that looked at me like nothing changed. He was just constant love all the time, and eek. That's why I love this place so much, and probably why I won't ever leave here, is because this was the one place that didn't turn their back on me. They didn't ever judge me for the whole like show I put them through. They just loved me, and that's what this place does, and that's what I want to keep doing. Like, we don't have an agenda. Our agenda is to just love you, to try to facilitate an environment where you can be in God's presence and we can worship and you can get empowered and you can get fired up, knowing that it's not the next message you need to hear or the next place you need to go or the next person you need to talk to, that you have the kingdom of God inside of you and you can access his presence anytime. You know, the word says that we were made in his image. If I'm made in his image, made is past tense. I'm not becoming like his image. I'm being perfected. Yes, don't give me theological discussions. I can't handle them right now. I'm telling you what God showed me. Is that the word says that we were made in his image. So that means you're already like him. You already have God DNA. It's already there. But we have to know how to access it and really tap into it to really start living in freedom. Like, God already did his part. You know, we sit around and whine and complain and gripe, and I'm the worst about it because we're still under the delusion that we're powerless, and we're not. If we have the same spirit within us that raised Christ from the dead, like, what are we doing? What are we doing? The only place that we're lacking, that I'm lacking, is how often I'm trying to tap into that. When do I choose access to his presence, access to his word, before I choose my next favorite TV show, or I choose to be scrolling on my phone, or I choose to engage in gossip, or I choose to go to a place that I shouldn't be? Because if those are the seeds that I'm planting and I'm reaping the harvest from that, I can't be frustrated when God doesn't give me the outcome for my life that I want. And then I walk around wondering why I don't have peace and why I'm angry all the time and why I'm frustrated, because I'm eating the fruit of what I just planted. So now I'm starting to do some different things. And I'm asking God to help me, because especially at the end of the day, I want to go sit down and watch TV. I don't want to absorb one more piece of information, but as soon as I answer the call and I am obedient, he gives me as much revelation as I could have gotten in 4 hours that I didn't have all throughout the day. Like, sometimes I get real discouraged because I can't always go. Like, I can't go to Friday morning communion unless the kids don't have school. And so, like, for a while I was really mad. I'd be like, well, I don't have as much spare time as everybody else, so, it's not fair, God can give you as much revelation in, a minute and a half as the person who had 2 hours to freely worship. Because he doesn't have favorites, and he knows what time you have to invest. It's your heart. It's your heart that he's interested in, and the intentions of your heart. We talked about it this morning. The word says, search me, God. Know my anxious heart. Know my anxious thoughts, and point out to me what is wrong with me. And the cool thing about when you do that is that while he's pointing these things out, he's also showing you how much he loves you. Not in spite of those things or along with those things. It's just, he loves you. I like how a pearl is made through irritation. Y'all like that one? Pastor talked about that a while back. Yeah. But it's true. Like, I didn't like hearing that either. I went back and listened to Pastor's message from yesterday, and he was talking about, being refined. I want to be tried by fire, purified. What sane person sings that? I was thinking about that before I came in here. But that's a heart that really wants God. That is figuring out that, he really is all I need. He's Jehovah Jireh. He is the provider of everything I have. He's Jehovah Rapha. He's my healer. Every outside thing I look to, I miss the mark with him over and over. It's just him that I need. So the situations in life, like, we were just talking about, are the things that don't work out. Part of that can and will be used for your refinement. But I also don't want you to stay stuck in thinking that you're just waiting to become something. You already are something. You already are a treasure. You already are worthwhile. You already are loved. So Hannah's house hates it when I do this because they love me so much. But since we're talking so much about being intentional, I want you guys to intentionally every day think of one thing that you love about yourself. And if you can't think of anything, then ask God to show you, God, what do you love about me? Well, I'm hysterical, for one. Sometimes, not all the time. I'm quirky and weird and awkward, and these are things about myself that I didn't even like until I asked God to start helping me just accept me for who I am. Because that enables you to live in the freedom that's required to really be effective for him. Because all of this self-revelation stuff, like, it's not for us. All this talk about ourselves, it's not really for us. It's for everybody out there that is still lost and still needs what we're starting to find. So as he's helping us grow, he's also going to help us reach out to the next person that needs it. You know, we can't get so stuck on thinking that we're some never-ending project and be so focused on all of our pros and cons that we're forgetting to reach out to someone who needs this too. He talked a whole bunch, didn't he? He did. He did so good. We haven't done this in a while. Ryan, there is a Riley Clemens song called Loved by You that has the lyrics, and I really just want to like jam out to that. That means everyone has to wake up. Yeah. This is that intentional thing I'm talking about. I really want you guys to listen to these words and look at these words and sing them because they're going to be up on the screen. I am believed in. I am held on to. I don't have to wonder who I belong to. These are the words. I'm always wanted, always treasured, always valued, loved, whatever it says. It's true. I'm loved by you. So if you can, I want you to put this song on repeat this week. And really be intentional about believing this. I mean, we believe a lot of other stuff really easy. That's not good for us. Let's believe this.